Hey y'all, welcome to Art of the Budget. Don't mind my little friend right here, Violet. She's just visiting. My name is Nicole. My pronouns are she and her. I live in the Pacific Northwest, which is the traditional territory of the Coast Salish tribes. And I'm an artist and educator, currently learning about budgeting, saving, and planning for retirement. I'm going through my January budget today. I've reconciled it in every dollar. And I'm just going to run through and give you the highlights. Okay, so let's talk about income. I had actually planned for $2,300, taking into account part of the month I wouldn't be paid for teaching because classes weren't in session. And in December, my last sort of the first paycheck of January would have some days without pay. I, however, actually made $3,112.99. Which was cool. I still went over budget, though, in case you were wondering, spoiler alert, busted the budget. Okay, for reimbursements, I'm just going to adjust this. For reimbursements, I did get some rent reimbursement for January. Of course, I paid January rent in December, so this was just sort of helpful, extra income, because this month I was paying February's rent. And that was $390. I also returned something at Target, a neck pillow for a plane ride that didn't work out. That was $16.04. I got some interest income in my simple account, which is a 2% interest rate, which is pretty cool, $6.58. Going down here to miscellaneous income, this is a little bit inaccurate since this isn't really income, but I just deposited my tenant's deposit, which of course when they move out will go back to them, barring any damages or whatever. I also got an Amazon gift card for $25, and that was through a program that my workplace offers. If you do a health assessment they have like a wellness program, you can get this $25 gift card, and there's actually little challenges that you can do that are pretty easy. Things like just recording, like my phone records my steps anyway, so if I just enter that in, I get a certain amount of points. And if you get a certain amount of points, you actually get $125 off of your deductible. I think for folks who have health savings accounts, there's something else that they get as well, or instead of off of their deductible. So anyway, terrible is just how I reconcile things, and we will talk about that later. So getting into giving, I had my usual $15 to Patreon and my $5 monthly to Trans Lifeline. Looking at rent, of course, this is rent for February, and I'm planning on $500, and I sent $500, and this just also includes my housemate giving me rent. Okay, so electricity was $23.43, which is what I was planning on because I got my electric bill before I planned for the month. I had planned $88 for my phone bill, but it was only $72.38, so finally stopped going over my data. Internet, same, $79.95. Moving down to transportation, I came in a little under budget on gas, so $98.12. As usual, $8.67 goes away for my car registration next November. And that's a little fun, so it'll just roll over every month. Going down to daily living, this is where things get rough. Okay, so I had planned $250 for groceries. I actually spent $620. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. You know, I did do the butcher box this month, and I've still, more than half of that in my freezer. So that's definitely going to help with February's grocery. And so that's one thing. I did the butcher box. And then I have to say another thing is that I just ate really good this month. I had, yummy different fruit every day. And like I had a variety of things. When I was really keeping the budget, my food was getting really boring. So I make, all my lunches. This January, another thing is that I've been making, in addition to my 5 lunches, I've been making 2 dinners. So yeah, I don't know. I went way over. I didn't really buy anything out of the ordinary. I just bought things I liked eating. Let me look at this. Yeah, I went to the Asian market, so I got some, fun vegetables. I did some really fun curries with lots of veggies in them, with lotus root and this little tiny green Thai Eggplant, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to work on my budget, but I'm also going to try to find a happy medium because I don't like being bored. I like to eat healthy, nutritious food that's like fun and interesting. And I cook almost every meal that I eat. Not that I don't eat out occasionally, but I don't like eat out for lunch typically or just on the rare occasion. So yeah, I don't know. I need to balance that out. I know that I spend a lot for one person. All right, moving on. For restaurant, I had planned $43.32, and I actually spent $224.61. I have to say a lot of that was having a special dinner out with a friend that I was visiting. Just kind of a little bit more expensive of a meal, and I treated. So that was a big part of that. And I did have a friend of mine started teaching a class on the same night that I teach my class. So I had an opportunity to, go out for drinks a few more times than usual. Probably a little more out of the ordinary than usual, but what are you gonna do? So $225 almost on eating out. Okay, household. I had planned 30 and I spent $54.34. Now this is really easy for me to identify the problem. I went to the thrift store and I have to stop going to the thrift store so much. So I'm just gonna try to put a moratorium on thrift shopping for a little while, unless there's something that I really, really need. Okay, moving down to my flexible spending account. Of course, I went to therapy and then I had the sort of remainder of my deductible. I might end up having a little more. I can't remember how that works. This all together equals about $125 though, so maybe that means I'm done. Not sure. My deductible is $250, but I do that program through work, so I get $125 off. Yeah, so I put money in every week from my paycheck, but the entire amount that I elect, and for me, I chose $850, is already there, and I just get a debit card that I use instead of using my own card. Okay, so health, I went a little over, and that's because my first therapy of the month, I forgot to use the flexible spending account debit card. Otherwise, I would have been on target, and I've already talked a little bit about the flexible spending account. It's use it or lose it. So I sort of chose a lower number. So I'm not too worried. Like, it's fine. Like, I can pay that. I'm sure I'll end up using this $850, but otherwise I would have been right on target. Cats, I planned to spend $100 and I spent $185.21, and that is because I bought a lot of cat food. And it's fine. I have kind of like an extra bag right now. I think I panic bought this last one at the end of the month, sort of feeling like I was going to run out, but I don't think I am going to run out. So that might mean I can buy a little less next month, especially February is a short month. We'll see. Either way, it doesn't hurt to have an extra bag. Other than being over budget, which hurts a little bit. Okay, going down to personal spending. It wasn't great. $869 for Hulu, and that's what I spent. And then for clothing and shoes, I had planned $0, and I spent $78.93, almost entirely at the thrift store. Did I need any of those things? I got a pair of leggings at f.i.r.e, and I use those a lot, so I kind of needed those. Everything else I definitely did not need. So I do have a sinking fund. I am trying to put away $10 every month for clothes and shoes, and I'm going to try to stick to that. Again, I'm going to put a moratorium on the thrift store shopping. Okay, moving on to hobbies. I'd planned $0, and I actually ended up spending $20. I bought a loom for my friend who's now teaching a weaving class the same night that I teach my community clay class, and it wasn't budgeted for, but I'm glad I have it. I don't know if she taught again this month. I could probably have waited, so I got to work on self-control, I guess. Okay, so studio, I'm kind of changing how I do this, and if you look at my budget updates, you'll see I've changed it mid-month. But I'm going to show you my business budget, and for every dollar, all we'll show is money that I have to put in addition to what I made, in order to cover my expenses, and we're going to call that owner equity for right now. Maybe at some point I will pay myself back. We will see, but for right now I'm just going to call it owner equity and just consider it an investment into my business. I used to do that all the time, but I just didn't separate it out like this. So I'm hoping this will mean that I spend less of my own money on the business and it's more self-sustaining. We'll see. Okay, so insurance and tax. Auto insurance was $103.70 as usual. Renter's insurance $764 goes away to pay it next year. For debt, I actually kind of did this after the fact, just because I have 2 bank accounts and one's online, so I have to kind of move stuff around sometimes to send this check. But so it wasn't in a budget update, but I did send off my check. I actually sent January and February already to pay my parents back. And then my student loan was $268. I had actually planned 201, but it's always $200.68. Retirement. This is going to go up to $500 in February, but for this month, since I was low, I decided to go with my usual $225. And I'm hoping I'll make up the rest of this $500, what would have been $500 later in the year. Going on to sinking funds, I pretty much had planned to put nothing really in sinking funds, and that's what I did, except for the cat fund. I had planned to put $374.70, which was kind of just like what was left over, but I actually ended up spending $639.25 on the ultrasound, vet visits, medicine, health food store, pet health food store, treats and foods. So yeah, $639.25. Whoa, man. I did spend out of car upkeep. I didn't put anything in, but I did spend $1564 out of what was already there, which was great. It was great that it was there for me. In gifts, I hadn't planned to put any in, but I did spend $35. And then when I was reconciling, there was a random $5 extra, and I just went ahead and added it. So I should have a little bit of a $5 cushion there now, which is great. $10 as usual into this clothing and shoe fund, and then nothing else except the tenant deposit. I put that in there, and that will just live there till I need to use it to give back. So for the emergency fund, I didn't put anything in. I did, however, take out $198.12 to cover my discrepancy, which was a total bummer. That then went into my income as as terrible. So that's where that went in. Yeah, normally when I go over budget, I'm able to sort of ignore it because I actually just like save less, but this month I couldn't save anything and I actually had to take out of my savings. So that was quite a bummer. I'm just gonna go down here and show you $658 I did put into my savings, which is just basically my interest income. And right now that is sitting at $17.17, which is awesome. And then into me, I put that $25 gift card, or like I put it in there. Obviously it's a gift card. So I'm just going to plan to use that if I want to get something from Amazon for myself. So that is my January personal budget. And now I just want to show you guys what I'm doing, what I'm trying out for my business budget. So if you remember, I had, not that you would because it was very confusing this month, but I had $25 in my studio fund. So I called that my starting balance. I made $73 from Play with Clay, and which I was actually supposed to make $63, but the director gave me a tip, I guess. And I also made $10 from renting my kiln space at my house, and I put in $38. It's a little like maybe not the perfect number, but it works out. Okay, so that's what I put in. That's what I made. Let's see how I can do this. Now, if we go down to expenses, I didn't have a ton of expenses, but I had $2 for my Google Drive, $15 for this glaze class that I'm taking, and $119 for my business license and my accountant consultation to talk about some of this stuff. Yeah, so left over, I've got $10. That's going to roll over to next month. And next month, I'll talk to you when I do my February projections. Okay, so I leave my January with $10 in my business budget. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Let me know how you did in your January budget. I'll see you next time.